Nathan's first love died because of me, and he hated me for 10 years because of it. He didn't forgive me even when I died of illness. Reborn on the day of the incident, I decided to help them and die in place of his first love. Fortunately, I didn't die and managed to fake my death. I started a new life and left Nathan behind. 2 years later, Nathan accidentally saw my photo and found out that I was still alive. It was said that he went crazy on the spot. 10 years after getting married, Nathan finally found a substitute for his first love. It was a female college student. Just with a face that was 6 points similar to Scarlett's, Nathan went crazy over her and doted on her to the sky. The female student's family was poor, so Nathan sponsored her to go to school. When the female student needed to do an internship, Nathan arranged for her to be his assistant, and the two were always together. Nathan had promised me that on my 35th birthday, he would go for a walk on the beach with me. We hadn't been to the beach together for more than 10 years. Since Scarlett died in the sea. On my birthday, I put on lipstick to cover my pale and sickly lip color. Then I used exquisite clothes to wrap my emaciated body. I waited on the beach for a whole day, but Nathan didn't even call me. I sat there until nightfall, and only then did he ask his secretary to tell me that something had come up suddenly and he couldn't make it. Using my memory, I searched for the female student's Weibo. She posted a photo, and a hand was visible in the corner. It was obviously Nathan's. As soon as he heard that I had dysmenorrhea, he immediately dropped his work and ran over. He even cooked porridge for me himself. Uncle is so caring. So cute. The tumor in my brain was pressing on the nerves, causing me so much pain that I couldn't straighten my back. I was about to be free. I smiled silently at the sea. Scarlett, I'm about to pay you back with my life. Nathan didn't get home until early morning. He glanced at me on the couch and said indifferently, "Why aren't you asleep?" "Nathan, I have something to tell you." "I know what you're going to say." He slowly untied his tie. Even though he was already 35 years old, Nathan still had a great figure, and every move he made showed the charm of a mature man. No wonder he could attract a 20-year-old female college student. I was indeed at my assistant's place tonight. She wasn't feeling well today, and there was no one around her. I thought it was not easy for her as a girl, so I went to see her. "I'll accompany you to the beach another day." "That's not it." He was a bit surprised. "Then what is it?" I was thinking about how to start. Nathan guessed again. "A birthday present?" "I asked my secretary to give it to you, right?" "That's not it either." Nathan's patience ran out. "Jayla, I'm really tired today. If you have something to say, just say it directly. Don't beat around the bush and waste time. I'm in the advanced stage of brain cancer." I pushed the diagnosis report in front of him. I had thought of 100 ways to start this conversation, but in the end, none of them were used. Nathan couldn't believe it and repeatedly read the report. The room was terrifyingly quiet. "Is this true? Can a top-tier hospital fake this?" Nathan finally had a trace of emotional fluctuation other than impatience towards me. But it was only for a moment. He quickly composed himself and put the report down. "It's getting late. Let's rest." "Is that all you want to say?" When disappointment accumulates too much, it turns into breakdown. "Nathan, I'm dying. This might be the last birthday I'll have while alive." He stopped in his tracks, allowing me to throw pillows and cups at him without resisting or dodging. When I calmed down, he wiped the water off his face and showed a cruel smile. "Jayla, tell me, is this karma?" I was suddenly stunned. Then I heard him say the second half of the sentence, "The karma for you indirectly killing Scarlett." Nathan left this sentence and went into his own bedroom. The door slammed shut, cutting off all my faint hopes. But I knew that Nathan was right. Scarlett's death was related to me. Before the age of 22, the three of us, Nathan, Scarlett, and I, were inseparable, like an iron triangle. But if I had to say it, I was the one who didn't fit in the best. Both the Victor family and the Nathan family were very wealthy. They had received an elite education since childhood and had many common topics. However, Scarlett regarded me as her best friend, so I had a place among them. Later, Just like all those cliched love triangles, I fell in love with Nathan, but Nathan only had eyes for Scarlett. My unrequited love was insignificant. On Scarlett's 22nd birthday, I suggested having the party on the sea. She happened to have a small private yacht that hadn't been used yet. Scarlett thought the suggestion was good and cancelled the reservation at the high-end club temporarily. The birthday party was changed to be held on the sea. The party lasted for several days. At first, everything was peaceful. But on the third day, an accident happened. The yacht suddenly broke down, and seawater flooded in. It was expected to sink within 20 minutes. There were 17 people on the boat, 2 lifeboats, and each lifeboat could carry a maximum of 16 people. Someone had to stay and wait for the subsequent rescue. To be fair, Scarlett proposed to draw lots to decide who would stay. Unfortunately, I was the unlucky one. After everyone boarded the lifeboats, Scarlett suddenly snatched the lot from my hand. "Jayla, you go first." "No, I was the one who drew the lot." "You're so silly." Scarlett smiled at me. No wonder she was the campus beauty. She looked so beautiful when she smiled. "I can swim, but you can't, so you go first." "I can hold on longer than you." "No. If you're staying, I'll stay too. Don't cause me any trouble. Maybe by the time you reach the shore, I'll have swum there too." Scarlett pushed me onto the lifeboat without hesitation. She turned to look at Nathan. "Take care of her." This was the last sentence Scarlett left us. As soon as our lifeboat left, a storm came. The extreme weather slowed down the rescue team's speed. By the time they arrived, the private yacht had completely sunk. Scarlett wasn't saved. The rescue workers found her body in the wreckage of the sunken ship. Nathan had originally planned to confess his love to Scarlett after returning to land. He had even prepared the gifts and flowers. But his beloved first love was forever left in the sea. From then on, Nathan began to hate me. If I hadn't persuaded Scarlett to go to sea back then, she wouldn't have died. If it hadn't been for, it would have been me who died. Later, Nathan saw my diary and learned about my unrequited love for him. He sneered and taunted, "You like me? Do you deserve it?" Even so, a week later, Nathan suddenly came to propose to me with a diamond ring, making a huge fuss. The photos went viral on the internet. Everyone said that they had never seen such a big diamond. They also said that the childhood sweethearts of the prince and Cinderella were so cute. But they didn't know. In reality, the prince's eyes had never stopped on the Cinderella. Nathan married me purely because of Scarlett's last words. He did take good care of me, however, he didn't love me. Nathan had never cheated on me. It seemed that he was trying to make Scarlett's spirit in heaven feel at ease. He managed to maintain the marital relationship with me for 10 years. Until this substitute appeared, Nathan's heart was reignited. My illness was getting worse. Nathan never came to the hospital to see me. He was busy with his career, busy accompanying his little assistant. On the TV in the ward, a charity dinner was being broadcast live. Nathan attended in formal attire, followed by the assistant named Autumn. Autumn was wearing elaborate makeup and looked even more like Scarlett. My gaze paused when I saw the necklace on her neck. That was Scarlett's necklace. When I was 20 years old, just because I said, "This necklace is really nice," Scarlett took it off directly and gave it to me. Later, I found out that her brother had bought it at an auction for several million. Scarlett said, "What are a few million? Jayla is my best friend. She deserves it." After she died, I sealed the necklace in a jewelry box and couldn't bear to open it. Now, how could Nathan just put it on someone else without permission? I held on to my last breath and dialed the phone. "Yes," came the cold voice. "I'm busy today. Call me later." "No one can replace her." I rudely interrupted Nathan. No matter what he was busy with, I used all my strength to say each word clearly. "No one can replace Scarlett." "Nathan, you're offending her." Nathan was stunned for a long time. I was too tired. After hanging up the phone, I closed my eyes completely. On the day I died, there was a violent storm. It was so similar to the day Scarlett died. "Jayla, do you like Nathan?" The familiar sweet and soft voice brought my consciousness back. I was reborn. 22-year-old Scarlett was sitting in front of me, with a bright smile. Don't deny it. What kind of relationship do we have? You can't hide it from me. Seeing that I was in a daze, she added, did I guess right? Don't worry. I'll create some alone time for you two tonight. Make good use of it. I excitedly stepped forward and hugged Scarlett tightly. She had the familiar scent of jasmine on her. She was alive. Jayla, what's wrong? Who bullied you? Tell me, and I'll get even for you. Before she could finish her words, nothing. Suddenly, the alarm sounded. There's a malfunction on the yacht. Everyone, please gather on the deck immediately. Immediately, oh no. Not again. I had just been reborn. Everyone gathered uneasily at the bow of the boat. The yacht was already tilting, and the stern was starting to sink. At this moment, the weather was getting worse too. Just like in the previous life, we drew lots to decide who would wait for rescue. I took a deep breath and grabbed the short lot first. It's me. You don't need to draw anymore. Except for Scarlett, everyone else let out a sigh of relief and hurriedly jumped onto the lifeboat. Just then, I noticed something strange about Nathan. In the previous life, he was the one who directed everyone to get on the lifeboat in an orderly manner. But now, he was just standing there dazedly, with dull eyes, and was pushed onto the lifeboat by others. He seemed to have lost his soul. Forget it. Who cares? I clenched the short lot in my hand and counted down from 3. 3. 2. Sure enough, Scarlett rushed over to snatch my lot. I had predicted it correctly and dodged her. What are you doing? I asked, pretending to be surprised. She said, Jayla, I'll trade with you. You go first this time. I'll stay here and wait for rescue. I can swim, and I can hold out longer than you. I shook my head. No, since I drew it, it's my fate. What nonsense are you talking? Don't you remember? I have a swimming coach certificate. You go first. Maybe by the time you reach the shore, I'll have swum there too. Thank you, Scarlett. In my previous life, I didn't even have time to say thank you. This time, I finally got to say it. Why are you suddenly thanking me? Are we best friends? Of course. Then please stay alive. Scarlett looked confused. On the contrary, Nathan, who was behind her, his pupils suddenly constricted after I said this. He seemed to come back to life instantly and stared at me without blinking. The next second, I pushed Scarlett onto the lifeboat. This time, let me be the one to die. I felt relieved and sank towards the stern of the boat. But then I heard Nathan shouting heartbreakingly on the sea. Jayla, it was so strange. In the previous life, did he ever call me like that? I turned around and met his desperate and devastated eyes. That wasn't the look in the eyes of 22-year-old Nathan. It was the look of 35-year-old Nathan. Nathan, he was also reborn. I calmly closed my eyes. So what if I was reborn? The ending was already set. Nathan, I don't owe you anymore. My body sank into the sea, deeper and deeper. In the bottomless darkness, a beam of light suddenly illuminated my world. Time flew by. 2 years had passed since I was reborn. I was walking on the campus in the UK, looking down and replying to messages. Scarlett, ding dong, your baby will arrive in London tomorrow /cool.jpg. Me, ready to pick you up anytime /cool.jpg. Scarlett, I'll bring you spicy strips. Me, Missy, you're my goddess. A foreign classmate beside me asked, hey, what's making you so happy? I couldn't help but smile. Surviving a near-death experience, how could I not be happy? No one would have thought that I was still alive. 2 years ago, during that shipwreck, when I was sinking into the sea with the yacht, suddenly a small lifeboat appeared. It broke through the fog and waves and rushed towards me quickly. I didn't know what happened after that. When I woke up from the coma, I was already lying in a hospital abroad. There was a familiar face beside me. Handsome, outstanding, with somewhat cold features. Awake? The doctor said you're out of danger. I was a bit slow for a moment and finally remembered who this person was. Victor. The brother who was strict and rigid in temperament but was willing to spend millions to buy a necklace for Scarlett. Was it you who saved me? Yes. Victor briefly explained. On the day of the accident, he detected a change in the weather at sea and immediately sent out a lifeboat just in case. Unexpectedly, he really saved me. I was very grateful but also a bit confused. Did this happen in the previous life? Before I could figure it out, Victor got up and left. By the way, I haven't told anyone about saving you yet, including Scarlett. He paused slightly and looked at me. I think you might have your own plans. Victor. The brother who was strict and rigid in temperament but was willing to spend millions to buy a necklace for Scarlett. Was it you who saved me? Yes. Victor briefly explained. According to Victor, everyone thought I was dead. Scarlett even locked herself in her room, not eating or drinking, crying all day. Nathan had people search for my body. He spent a lot of money and wouldn't give up until he found my body. But in the end, he only found my bracelet. It was the birthday present Nathan gave me in my sophomore year of high school. I had never taken it off since the day I got it. Nathan held the bracelet and knelt on the salvage boat, crying. On the day I was discharged from the hospital, I decided to tell Scarlett that I was alive. When Scarlett found out, she flew to the UK, hugged me, and cried her heart out. We agreed that she would keep it a secret for me, as if Jayla was already dead. Scarlett could keep a secret very well. 2 years had passed, and except for my family, only the Victor siblings knew of my existence. I think this near-death escape was the real rebirth. I changed my name and cut off my original waist-length long hair. Before, Nathan said he liked girls with long, straight black hair. I never changed my hairstyle since then. In this brand new life, I will live for myself. As a science and engineering major, the UK has the university I've always longed for. Imperial College London, ranked 10th in the world. I stayed here, working part-time while studying. Victor wanted to help me. He said, "You don't have to work so hard. I'll provide you with a house. You just focus on applying for a master's degree." I shook my head. Thank you, but I want to rely on myself. You've already helped me too much. He sighed softly. Back and forth, I gradually developed a friendship with Victor. Once I asked, "Why are you willing to help me for free?" "Because you're Scarlett's best friend." This answer was perfect. Finally, I successfully got into the graduate program at Imperial College London and returned to campus. After graduating from university, Scarlett worked in her family's company, which was quite a laid-back job. She would fly to London to find me from time to time. The young lady could obviously stay in the penthouse suite of a 5-star hotel, but she just wouldn't. She always wanted to squeeze into my single dormitory. We chatted, watched dramas, and shared gossip together. Just like before. To my surprise, she and Nathan didn't end up together. Instead, they grew further and further apart. When I asked about it, Scarlett said firmly, "I don't know what the conflict is between you and Nathan, but I have a principle. If my best friend hates someone, that person is my sworn enemy. My best friend can't be wrong. Even if she is wrong, it has to be right." I was amused by her. Then, Scarlett added, "But, classmate Jayla, I think you might be mistaken. Nathan doesn't seem to like me at all." "He likes you. It's impossible. But he's become so obsessed now, and it's all because of you." Scarlett muttered softly, "Since the accident happened to you, he's always been saying things I don't understand, like, 'I was wrong, please come back, I'll never go to the little assistant again,' and such." Another time, I bumped into him kneeling in front of your portrait, talking to himself and crying so sadly. According to my wishes, my family and Scarlett held a funeral for me. I gave an awkward smile and changed the topic. "How long are you planning to stay this time?" "I'll stay to celebrate your birthday with you and leave half a month later." We huddled together under the quilt, chatting from variety shows to celebrity chasing. In the end, neither of us knew who fell asleep first. The next morning, I was woken up by Scarlett's scream. "Jayla, I'm sorry." Jayla was actually my nickname, and I got used to it, so I didn't ask everyone to change the way they called me. Nathan. Nathan saw our group photo. What's wrong? I asked. Yesterday, Scarlett was sharing food photos in the class group. She accidentally sent a photo of her and me together. After realizing it, she withdrew it in time, thinking no one had seen it. But unexpectedly, some busybodies quickly saved the picture and sent it to Nathan. Nathan immediately went crazy and called Scarlett countless times. Scarlett slept like a log and didn't hear a single ring. The last message said that he had already set off for the UK. When she woke up, there were hundreds of messages from Nathan on her WeChat. What should we do now? Scarlett asked, on the verge of crying. Meet difficulties head on. I see. You mean I should find some thugs to beat him back? That could work too. Why don't you just hire a hitman? Missy, I was just kidding. Jokes aside, Nathan really came. The photo was taken near the school. Through the buildings, Nathan could easily figure out that the location was Imperial College London. Originally, I was quite confident. The campus was so big. How could he possibly find me? But I forgot that you shouldn't make hasty assumptions. On Thursday, I was holding a stack of materials and was about to rush to the laboratory. When I walked around a corner, I bumped into someone coming towards me. Sorry. The familiar voice rang out. There was no time to run at all. As soon as I looked up, I saw Nathan. I hadn't seen Nathan for 2 full years, and he had changed quite a bit in appearance. He was more composed than before and also seemed more burdened with thoughts. At this moment, I was extremely glad that I had wrapped myself up tightly. Besides wearing a hat, I also used a scarf to cover the area below my eyes. The materials fell all over the ground. I bent down to pick them up without saying a word. Nathan stared blankly at my eyes. Did he notice something? I quickly picked up my things and slipped away as fast as I could. I thought I had escaped. The next day, there was a theory class. The WeChat group created by the Chinese students in the class was unusually lively. Who is that guy in the last row? I've never seen him before. I don't know. Maybe he's auditing the class. Do people really audit our boring major? He's kind of handsome. I curiously looked back. Why was it Nathan? He seemed to have seen me too. Our eyes met for a split second, and I quickly turned my head away. I prayed in my heart that he wouldn't see my face clearly. However, throughout the whole class, that burning gaze never left my back. When the class was over, I was the first to rush out of the classroom. I thought I could escape Nathan's pursuit like this. To my great surprise, he was even faster than me. Under the teaching building, he called out to me, "Classmate, don't you want your student ID card?" I stopped in my tracks and felt in my pocket. Indeed, it was there. Probably when we bumped into each other yesterday, the student ID card fell out, and I didn't notice. He must have picked it up. His leather shoes made a light sound on the marble floor, but it was still nerve-wracking. The photo on this is really nice. He said, "Don't you think so, classmate Jayla?" At this point, there was no point in avoiding it anymore. Nathan had already been sure it was me, that's why he could accurately find the classroom. I turned around, snatched the student ID card from his hand. "To correct you, my name is Jayla. Love myself and please myself." "And what about Jayla?" "She's dead." He looked at me in silence. The weather in the UK is changeable, and now it started to drizzle. Nathan's eyes were like the current weather, misty. "You were reborn too, right?" he asked softly. "Yes." "To avoid seeing me, you even gave up the name, Jayla?" "Yes, I did." Nathan's eyes gradually turned red. "Why?" "Hating you." "Is that reason enough?" "Enough, of course enough. I was an asshole before, and I hate myself too. But Jayla, no matter how much you hate me, please don't avoid seeing me, okay?" I gave him a strange look. "Are you crazy? What are you pretending to be so deeply in love here? You can say whatever you want, as long as you're happy." Nathan walked up to me, grabbed my hand, and wanted to place it on his chest. "Jayla, when I realized that I loved you more than anything, it was already too late. God punished me by making me experience your 2 deaths. I was heartbroken, and finally today, before he could finish, I pulled my hand out and slapped him directly. Get a grip. I don't love you anymore. Nathan was slapped to the side and didn't come to his senses for a long time. I didn't hold back my strength. A red mark slowly appeared on his face. Nathan had been pampered all his life and had never been hit before. He touched his face and smiled. It was actually a satisfied smile. Just considerate that Jayla was willing to touch me. Scarlett was right. He had gone crazy. Did it make you feel better? If not, you can slap this side of my face too. He even offered his face to take the initiative. I took a step back in disgust. Don't disgust me. Disgust? Nathan was stunned. Do you think I'm disgusting? Extremely disgusting. Then could you please bear with it for a while and let me finish what I have to say? No, I don't want to listen. Just then, my savior appeared. I looked at the Maybach approaching in the rain and let out a sigh of relief. I'm leaving. My boyfriend is here to pick me up. Boyfriend? Nathan was instantly stunned. Following my gaze, a man got out of the car and opened a black umbrella. I happily hid under his umbrella and didn't give Nathan another glance. Nathan's face darkened. He knew this man. It was Victor. The Victor family has business in the UK, so Victor has been in London these years. Before the class ended, I had a hunch that the situation would become tricky. So I sent a message to Victor in advance, asking him to come and rescue me. Victor arrived very promptly. Thank you just now. You're welcome. Is Scarlett with you? Did she delay your studies? No, she seems to be going to France today. Victor drove me to the supermarket to buy some things before we returned to the dormitory. There was no one in the dormitory corridor. Then I'll go in first. I waved to Victor. Suddenly, he pulled me into his arms and kissed me passionately. The voice-activated lights went out. In the darkness, I carefully responded to his kiss. I don't know how long it took, but when I was almost out of breath from the kiss, Victor finally let me go a little. When are we going to tell Scarlett about our relationship? I whispered, let's wait a bit longer. He sounded aggrieved. Am I that embarrassing? No. My words were drowned out by the next long kiss. I've been with Victor for only half a month. Looking back now, it still feels unreal. That day, he calmly asked me if I wanted to try dating him. I looked at his handsome face and, as if possessed, nodded. After calming down, I was a bit regretful. After all, Victor is the elder brother of my best friend. Would this be not so good? Noticing my hesitation, Victor immediately asked at that time, do you still like Nathan? Of course not. Then give it another try. I'm a good person, no worse than anyone else. Give it a try, and you won't lose anything. What he said made sense. There was no need for me to remain single for the rest of my life because of a scumbag. Victor was indeed nice, gentle and considerate. However, when getting along with him, I still felt a bit awkward. I was polite to him, and he was the same to me. Only when the lights were off like this did we dare to embrace each other. Victor and I were kissing passionately when the plastic bag fell to the ground with a dull thud. Is Jayla back? Scarlett's voice suddenly rang out. She happily ran to the door and opened it. The alarm bells went off in my head, and I quickly pushed Victor away. Victor was caught off guard and was pushed against the wall by me, letting out a muffled groan. He must have hit it hard. I looked at him apologetically. Huh? Brother, why are you here? Scarlett asked curiously. I happened to meet her, and your brother took me to the supermarket. I quickly changed the topic. What about you? Weren't you going to France today? Don't mention it. There's a strike in France, so I cancelled my plane ticket. Victor said, then you two talk. I still have work to do, so I'll leave first. After closing the door, Scarlett looked me up and down. Jayla, what's wrong with your mouth? It's so red. I touched it guiltily. I ate something spicy on the way just now. Ha! That's the karma for eating alone without me. Your Highness is absolutely right. By the way, I've been feeling that my brother is a bit strange recently. What's wrong? It seems that he's in a relationship. My hand trembled. and the water I was pouring spilled out. Is there any evidence? Yes. Look. He used to post on WeChat moments less than once every 6 months, but recently he's been posting so frequently, and the content is all meaningless. He took pictures of a dog on the roadside, a wild flower, and even said some nonsense like, "The moon is beautiful." It's obvious that he has someone he likes. Detective Scarlett swiped through her phone, analyzing it with me one by one. She didn't notice that Victor had sent me a message. Victor, it hurts me, from the bump just now? I'm sorry. It's all my fault. I was too nervous. Victor, pitiful puppy.jpg. Victor was a very restrained and rigid person, and it was a huge contrast when he occasionally acted cute like this. Victor, want compensation/twiddling fingers. Me, okay, I'll definitely compensate you next time. Jayla, Scarlett stopped and looked at me suspiciously. Who are you messaging? You've been smiling foolishly at the screen. I saw a cute puppy. I tried my best to change the topic, even at the cost of revealing something about myself. I saw Nathan today. Sure enough, she forgot about Victor immediately. How was it? Did he see you? I roughly told her about it, but omitted the part about Victor. Scarlett clicked her tongue. He's really crazy now. Next time, don't hit him yourself. I'm afraid he'll enjoy it. Scarlett was right. Nathan was really crazy now. That night, just as I was about to fall asleep, the dormitory group suddenly exploded. There's a guy kneeling downstairs in Building C. Whose lapdog is left outside. Someone took a photo and sent it to the group. The moment I saw Nathan, I almost fainted. It had been raining outside, and he was kneeling in the rain, looking haggard and pitiful. You needed a key card to enter the dormitory building. Since he couldn't get in, he could only kneel there, waiting for me to go down. Actually, even if Nathan died on the roadside, I wouldn't bother to take a look. However, the circle of overseas students was so small. If I didn't stop this, tomorrow this matter would spread beyond London and reach Scotland. I just wanted to study quietly and didn't want to be the heroine in a topic. I went downstairs, full of anger. Nathan, how far do you want to go with this? Nathan's eyes lit up. Jayla. You're willing to come and see me? I sneered, so eager to see me? Yes. When I was dying of illness in my previous life, why didn't you come to see me? His smile immediately disappeared. I'm sorry. Jayla, I know I was wrong. Believe it or not, actually, in the previous life, I fell in love with you long ago, but I didn't dare to face it, so I was so cold to you. Disgusting. Shut up. Nathan stubbornly stopped me and continued, because I felt guilty. I felt guilty towards Scarlett. Hearing Scarlett's name, I stopped in my tracks. Jayla, before Scarlett died, she asked me to take good care of you. And it was indeed because of this sentence that I married you. However, a few years after getting married, I realized that I had feelings for you. Nathan's voice was hoarse, like an old light bulb that flickered on and off. At that moment, I was terrified. I felt that I was sorry to Scarlett. I deliberately distanced myself from you, brainwashed myself, and made myself numb. Later, when I met Autumn who looked a lot like her, in order to prove my undying love for Scarlett, I treated Autumn even better. I felt like I had heard the funniest joke ever. It was so hilarious. If you love me so much, why didn't you stay on the yacht for me? I was reborn a bit later than you. When I opened my eyes, I saw the scene of you pushing Scarlett towards me. He was very frustrated. If only I had been reborn a bit earlier, I would never have let you stay. I asked again, what about when I had brain cancer? He fell silent. After a while, he said guiltily, I'm sorry. At that time, I thought that the brain cancer was a lie you made up. Seeing that I was unmoved, Nathan suddenly knelt down in front of me. Jayla, give me one more chance. I'll make it up to you. I shook my head impatiently. Nathan, we can only be strangers. I won't love you anymore, and I won't hate you either, because hatred is also a very strong emotion, and you don't deserve it. Nathan's breath caught. He still wanted to beg me when there was a noise in the stairwell. I opened the fire door, and Scarlett was standing there. She was probably afraid that Nathan would do something to me, so she hid here to protect me. But at this moment, her face was pale. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop." After I said it was okay, Scarlett forced a smile. "Can I ask a few questions?" "Go ahead. Is everything you just said true?" "Yes, it's true." "In the previous life, was it me who died?" "Yes." "Did I ask him to take care of you?" "Yes." "Then, you died of brain cancer?" "Before you died, he was with my substitute." "Yes." Scarlett was shaking all over. The next second, she rushed up and slapped Nathan hard. "Fuck you. How could you do that to Jayla?" The slap wasn't enough to vent her anger. She grabbed Nathan's collar, almost going crazy, crying out every word. "Why did you do that to her? Say it. Using my name to hurt her, what gives you the right?" "What gives you the right?" "Just because of your shitty love? It's so ridiculous. Nathan, in my heart, you're not even worth one of my best friend's fingers." Nathan didn't resist. He looked at me despairingly. It seemed that he still hoped that I would pity him a little. "I finally understand why Jayla didn't want to see you." Scarlett kicked him away. "Nathan, you really don't deserve it." She grabbed me and resolutely went upstairs. That kick just now seemed to have used up all of Scarlett's strength. After returning to the room, she leaned on me, silent. I don't know how long it had passed when she asked cautiously, "Does it hurt?" "What?" "The brain tumor. It must have hurt a lot, right?" Scarlett suddenly started crying. "Jayla, did you suffer a lot?" My tears burst out. To be honest, since my first death, I hadn't cried. No sad thing was worth my tears. However, I don't know why. Hearing Scarlett say that, I could no longer control my tears. That's what good friends are like. She can always see through my grievances and pains at a glance. No matter how I disguise myself, in front of her, I have nowhere to hide. I didn't answer, and Scarlett didn't ask again. She gently patted me, as if it was a belated comfort. "It doesn't hurt anymore, Jayla, it won't hurt anymore." The next day, Scarlett took me to have a physical examination. The doctor said that I was currently very healthy. I told her not to worry. In the previous life, the doctor said that my illness was caused by anger. I was always unhappy, so I got sick. Now I'm very happy and my days are fulfilling. I won't get sick again. On the way home, Scarlett made a wish to the turtles in the pond. I asked, "What are you doing?" "Sure. I'm making a wish for you." "Making a wish for what?" "I hope my best friend is as healthy and long-lived as these turtles." Me. I was a bit touched and a bit angry. What was going on? Since learning about the things in the previous life, Scarlett had also changed. She no longer only cared about shopping and having fun. She went back to China and started to work seriously, getting involved in the family business. She said that she would gradually take over Nathan's company to avenge me. Scarlett was quite like her brother, quick to learn and decisive in her actions. Nathan was targeted by her everywhere, so busy and worried that he had no time to bother me for a while. I was able to have a peaceful period of time. Before I knew it, it was Christmas. I had made an appointment to spend it with Victor. Talking about Scarlett's recent situation, I said, "Don't you care about your sister?" "No need to. It's just right for her to practice on Nathan's family company." I almost spat out the water I was drinking. In Victor's eyes, Nathan was just someone for her to practice on. To be honest, if Scarlett doesn't deal with him, I'll deal with him too. Why? Because he annoys me. Lost in thought, Victor leaned over and kissed me. "Don't think about him anymore." "I'm not thinking about him. I haven't liked him for a long time. Be good. Touch my abs. If you don't, my workouts will be in vain." It was snowing heavily outside. The atmosphere inside was getting more and more intimate. This was the first night I spent with Victor. We didn't get ready to go to sleep until midnight when we were exhausted. Just as I was starting to feel sleepy, suddenly I heard the sound of fingerprint unlocking. Surprise! "Jayla. I've come to spend the holiday with you." Scarlett appeared at the door, dragging her suitcase. I got dressed and walked out of the bedroom. Why didn't you let me know you were coming? I almost couldn't hide your brother. To give you a surprise. Here, a Christmas present. How did you get in? Someone just swiped their card to open the door, and I followed them in. Scarlett and I exchanged presents. I bought the new smart glasses she had been talking about recently. I queued up all night before and managed to get them on the first day of the release. Scarlett was extremely excited when she put on the glasses. After studying them for quite a while, she finally decided to take a rest. I'm so tired. I just finished work and caught the latest flight. Fortunately, I made it in time for Christmas. Scarlett lifted her foot and walked towards the bedroom. I'm going to catch up on my sleep, Missy. Wait. I nervously glanced at the big wardrobe and stopped her. Girl, you've lost a lot of weight. Work makes you lose weight. But don't worry about me. When I take over Nathan's company, I'll give you some shares. She took off her coat and wanted to hang it in the wardrobe. I quickly grabbed her. Give it to me. I'll hang it for you. Oh, okay. Why do I feel like you're a bit nervous? Because your brother is in the wardrobe. The president of the Victor family, now huddled in my small wardrobe. I helped Scarlett hang her coat, and then she wanted to open the wardrobe door again. Suddenly, a knock on the door interrupted her action. Both of our attention was drawn to the door. Who would come at this late hour? This was a student dormitory, and usually, there were no outsiders, so there was no peephole on the door. I just opened the door. Nathan was standing outside, holding presents and roses. Scarlett rolled her eyes. You're like a ghost that won't go away. What do you want now? Nathan ignored her and just looked at me, saying, Merry Christmas, Jayla. This is a present for you. Look, it was the doll I used to want very much. He held a doll and carefully observed my reaction. It was a limited edition released every Christmas. It wasn't expensive, but it was very hard to buy. I knew that Nathan knew the designer of it. However, he had never given it to me. On the contrary, after Autumn showed up, he gave one to Autumn. You used to like it very much. Now, do you still like it? Nathan asked carefully. I replied, I haven't liked it for a long time. He looked disappointed. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. Please accept it first. Maybe one day, you'll like it again. It's impossible. I pushed him out. Take the roses away too. You're not welcome here. Jayla, I know that the thing about having a boyfriend was a lie you told me. What? To be angry with me, you deliberately said you had a boyfriend. I understand everything. It was kind of funny. Where did he get his confidence from? Hearing this, Victor inside the room couldn't hold it back either. He walked out of the bedroom, take the initiative, and said unhappily, Who are you saying is fake? Mr. Nathan, please behave yourself and stop harassing my girlfriend. Now, not only was Nathan surprised. Even Scarlett's eyes widened in shock. 10 minutes later, the two men left one after another. Only Scarlett and I were left in the room. We looked at each other. To be exact, Scarlett was a bit angry and didn't want to talk to me. I was very active in admitting my mistake. If you mind that I'm with your brother, I'll break up with him right now. Love, how could it compare to our friendship of so many years? I'm sure Victor would understand if I made him feel a bit wronged. I'm not angry about that. Scarlett crossed her arms. I'm angry that we have such a good relationship, but you didn't even tell me. And my brother, I'm his only sister. His only sister, and he actually stole my best friend? How could I bear this? Don't blame him. I didn't let him tell you. Jayla, didn't we agree that we should share with each other when we have a crush on someone? I sighed, it's my fault. I'm afraid that it won't last long with your brother. Why? Is he not good to you? I'll go and beat him up right now. No. No. He's very good. It's just because he's too good. Victor told me that he had never been in a relationship before and that I was his first love. Marriage, what a heavy word. He said that he was very serious and was aiming for marriage. I told Scarlett dejectedly, you know that I was married once, to Nathan. You also know the final result. Jayla, are you scared? Scarlett saw through me at a glance. Yes, I don't think I'm ready yet, and I don't know how to face your brother. If we break up someday, you'll be caught in the middle, and it'll be awkward. So, I think it's okay to tell you when I figure it out. I see. Scarlett quickly got over it. Come to think of it, I've always thought that my brother has been a bit strange these years. What's wrong? Don't you think it was too coincidental that he sent out the lifeboat? Also, he invested in a project abroad, and it seems to be about the research on brain tumors. What? I was a bit stunned. A bold idea came to my mind. Scarlett had the same thought, damn. Didn't he also get reborn? I decided to go to Victor and ask him clearly. It was the first time I went to his residence in the UK. The password was my birthday. It seemed that Victor wasn't at home. The study door was open, and I was immediately attracted by the dense materials on the wall. They were all about brain cancer research. How to prevent it, how to treat it. In the center of the materials, there was a photo of me. It was a photo taken by Scarlett during the freshman sports meet. I was smiling and making a victory sign after running the 100-meter race. There was a piece of paper hanging under the photo, filled with details about me. She likes looking at the sea, but after Scarlett's death, she became afraid of the sea. She likes a certain brand's rabbit doll. The limited edition is released every Christmas, but she has never got one. She was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 34. To make her happy, often take her to have physical examinations. Every word was filled with deep and intense love. My dark and hopeless life back then had actually been carefully treasured by someone. Victor didn't know when he came to the door of the room. I knew I couldn't hide it from you. I turned to look at him. So, you also have a second life? He nodded. I was reborn on the day of the shipwreck. I immediately sent out a lifeboat and luckily made it in time. When Victor found out that the person he saved was me, he vaguely knew that I was the same as him. Victor, I never knew before that you, to me. He smiled. You only had Nathan in your heart back then. You only regarded me as the brother of a friend, not even a friend. I was afraid that if I confessed and failed, you would even avoid Scarlett. Indeed, in my previous life, I had very few interactions with Victor. And usually, after I rejected someone, I would block and avoid that person. When did you fall in love with me? He pointed to the freshman photo, before this. That means, when I went to Scarlett's house to play with my classmates in high school, he had already noticed me. In my impression, he always asked everyone gently, would you like some ice cream? Or some fruit? So, his eyes were on me back then. I was filled with mixed feelings and then remembered another thing. In the previous life, you never got married. Yes, it was because of you. Victor admitted it generously. After I died, he walked through the rest of his life alone. On the day he passed away, he was still holding an old hair tie. It was the one I left behind when I first went to Scarlett's house to play. It was also the only relic I left him. Victor said, if I had known that you didn't have a good life after getting married, I would have what? Would have snatched you away. I looked into his clear eyes and was stunned for a while. Victor, have you ever blamed me? Blame you for what? For Scarlett's death. The yacht wasn't broken by you, nor was the storm summoned by you. The decision to go to sea was ultimately in Scarlett's hands. Why should you be blamed? He rubbed my head comfortingly. I don't blame you. Scarlett doesn't blame you, and you shouldn't blame yourself either. Don't blame yourself. Finally, someone said these 5 words to me. My nose tingled, and I was almost on the verge of crying again. Scarlett once told me that their family was nouveau riche. Have you ever seen any educated people give their daughter such an unlucky name? My parents just thought Scarlett sounded nice back then. They didn't even look it up in the dictionary and just named me that. They suffered from being uneducated, so now they attach great importance to the education of my brother and me. Jayla, I've been waiting for you for a very long time. Victor kissed my forehead, long enough to live out this life. Suddenly, I remembered his initial confession. Would you like to try dating me? It was so calm and restrained. But the love had been accumulating in unseen places over the years, like a rushing stream. One day, that stream finally came before me. It washed away my shattered life and pieced me back together bit by bit. Jayla, thank you. Thank me for what? I choked up a bit. Thank you for finally noticing me. Victor said contentedly. Time passed in a hurry. 2 years later, I successfully completed my postgraduate studies. At the graduation ceremony, as an outstanding graduate representative, I went on stage to give a speech on behalf of the whole college. The Victor siblings also came to attend my graduation ceremony. Scarlett had changed a lot. She had become an elite who could handle things independently and had the air of President Victor. The plan to acquire Nathan's company would also be completed this year. Several companies in the UK offered me jobs and invited me to stay. But I still chose to return to my home country. Using what I've learned in my life to build my motherland is my wish. After starting work, I saw Nathan a few more times. Usually, it was for work needs or when meeting classmates that I had to see him, until the last time we met. He asked, Jayla, what's different about me? I glanced at him. I didn't notice. He was disappointed for a moment and said, I've lost weight. A lot of weight. Oh, right, I wasn't really listening carefully to what he was saying. I'm getting married. He was immediately stunned. Getting married? Yes, Victor proposed to me. I feel very happy. The wedding date is set for the second half of the year. It is said that when people feel happy, they can let go of a lot of things. That's how I am now. Looking at Nathan doesn't annoy me as much anymore. Do you want to come? I can send you an invitation. He forced a smile. Sure. At that time, I didn't know. He couldn't come. He was ill and had less than half a year to live. My wedding with Victor was grand. Scarlett was my bridesmaid. She was happier than anyone else. My good sister has become my sister-in-law. I don't have to worry about the relationship between sisters-in-law anymore. If she quarrels with my brother? Well, I'll definitely side with my sister. Nothing is more important than my sister. What's a brother? I don't know, I don't recognize. Someone asked her if she really had such a good relationship with her best friend. She smiled and said, we're friends through life and death, twice. What do you think? Later, Victor put a diamond ring on my finger. I said to Victor, I do. Scarlett sighed with emotion from the audience. Before, I thought no one was worthy of being my sister-in-law. Now I just want to say, Victor, what did you do to deserve this? After the wedding, Nathan sent a gift through someone. The middleman said that he had gone on a trip to a faraway place. He might never come back. I said, oh, then I wish him a pleasant journey. I pretended not to see his obituary. In this world, life is like a traveler on a long journey. Nathan has gone on to his next journey. I'm also about to embark on a brand new life. But I already have someone I love deeply and the best friend in the world. From now on, I won't be afraid of storms anymore.